Hey, what's going on out there and how you doing? This is your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge and also in Atlanta Bird Gang on Facebook. Don't forget in Uncle Steve's Lounge, push the like button, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny. There are no ads that come to you. Goodness gracious, it costs you nothing. Help a brother out on today. Today is Wednesday, December 21st. So glad to get in touch with all of you listen to us on YouTube and also those in the Atlanta Bird Gang on Facebook Live. I happened to see this morning one of our followers who's always here, our brother Philip Crawford, and I appreciate him checking us out. And he sent out a post this morning. It was interesting because we always talk about stuff like this, and he was asking us to talk about Lamar Jackson. Now, I had spoken about this earlier during the year, but Tidy did a very good video where he kind of broke down the salary, talked about what it would cost in draft capital and things like that. So if you don't if you get an opportunity, go to the Atlanta Bird Gang YouTube page. First, subscribe to it, and then watch Tidy's video. I'm not going to go through every single detail he went through, but he broke it down pretty good, as Denzel would say in Philadelphia. Explained it to me like a 5-year-old, and he did it in a very good. Talked about the salary cap ramifications. Talked about what it could cost if we were looking at Baltimore franchising Lamar, and if he what kind of compensation we would be looking at going back. So one of the reasons why I think a lot of us are bringing this up, I don't want it to get twisted. We saw 4 quarters of our third round pick quarterback, Desmond Ridder, and I by no means. So, because this is always going to happen. They talking about Lamar. They don't want to do. Nobody wants to believe. Nobody wants to go in the process. That's why this franchise. Nobody's saying all that. This is clearly hypothetical, as everything is. The true part about it right now in Atlanta, and whether you're taking that sample size of Ridder, whatever we saw in Mariota, we're going to have to seriously figure out the quarterback position in 2023. So I don't think we're trying to mortgage the farm to just get one player. Remember, if we go back right now, and I'm going to try to pull up Spot Track on here as well. The Falcons are looking at over $70 million in salary cap. And let me also remind folks, that doesn't necessarily mean if you sign Lamar to $200 million in a 4-year contract that all that money comes out 50 at a time. We have Terry Fontenot, who worked wonders down there with Mickey Loomis on the salary cap and was able to maneuver some things. So why all the Lamar Jackson talk? Well, first of all, we probably wouldn't be having this talk if we didn't have the money to make some of the moves. We have space this year coming up. The opposite side of that is, man, didn't we just finish playing Matt Ryan, Julio Jones? Didn't we just get all of that stuff off the books? Yes, we did. But the difference in that case was, I could argue that you were overpaying guys who were past their prime. We kept restructuring, extending Matt Ryan past the time where, yes, he was technically able to put up 4,000 yards, but you could still see that there was a slight decline in his play. Julio Jones, the same thing. He kind of pressured Atlanta, and he kind of bullied his way into that last contract we had. And now, we're looking back and saying, man, we should have never made that move. Lamar Jackson, to me, is one of those quarterback / players that would immediately upgrade your credibility, your standing in the league. He's a former MVP. He's still young. He would be 26 next year. Yes, you have some thoughts about the injuries and stuff like that, but when he is healthy, he would make your team better. So it would be foolish for us to not at least investigate it and see if it's worked out. None of this is saying we're giving up on Ritter. Ritter we have locked in. There's no we got Ritter. Don't worry about it. He's not going anywhere. But we're at a point now where this is losing season number 5, and I need to double check that as far as if I'm not mistaken, and I just threw this up. I think this is the first year. This is the first year, not first year. This is the first time since the 70s that the Falcons have gone 5 straight years without a losing season. And I'm about to pull this up, and I'm going to let y'all look with me since we're looking together. There we go. And it's coming. There it is. Sorry about all the ads. We're going to pull this down. Let's start from 78 because that's the first year we made the playoffs. So we went, okay, winning season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, I take that back. This in so from 83, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My apologies. So we did have one stretch from 83 to 90 where we had 7 games. So let's go from 1990. How about we say that? From 1990, have we had 5 consecutive losing seasons? 90, got 16, 16, nope. 1, 2, nope. 1, 2, 3, nope. 1, 2, and I can go from the 2000s, I already know. So this is the first time since 1990 that we've had 5 consecutive losings, since before 1990 that we've had 5 consecutive losing seasons. You're at a point now when things like when stats like that start coming up as a fan, and back then, let's be honest, the urgency wasn't there back then. Now, you got to win now, or people leave. And when you have a brand new stadium like we have here in Atlanta, you gotta, you got to do something to get this fan base going. You really do. I'm going to pull up some of the comments and see what y'all saying. False starts in the house on Uncle Steve's Lounge. What's going on? How you doing, Brother Winston? As always, what's going on, Brother Winston? RJ in the house, as usual. Our brother Jeremy is in the house. Jeremy says, I like Lamar a lot and would love to see him in the Falcons jerseys, but not at the league's highest price he wants. And I understand that. And that's one of the things, Jeremy. I don't want people to think this is just a matter of making an impulse buy just to make an impulse buy. Almost like just because you have $1 million doesn't mean you go out and spend 700,000 of it just because you have it. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is you have to start looking for jump starts. We got to start looking for, we've tried everything. For those of you who talk about the patient route, we've tried the patient route. For those who you talked about, let's go spend money, we've tried the spend money route before. We've tried to develop the quarterback route before. Everything that I see over the past couple of decades, this organization has tried. So I say, let's try this one. We have never plucked a high value quarterback in free agency to come on this team. We have not. Chris Chandler was not high value free agent when we got him. Michael Vick was the closest to high value draft pick quarterback that we got. And that's no disrespect to Matt. Matt was a solid quarterback when he got drafted, but by no means did Matt have any star power when we got him. So all I'm saying, when you say that, Jeremy, I'm not trying to act like I don't understand. That's not a high price. But at the same time, sometimes you got to try some things. In my opinion, sometimes you do. I can't see y'all on Facebook right now, but what's good? What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? Clayton's in the house. What's going on? I hope we don't go for him. Ritter does look promising, and that's the other thing, Clayton. I don't want anybody to think that this means give up on the progression of Ritter. The one great thing about this situation is, say, for instance, Lamar Jackson does fall flat on his face if he happened to sign a contract here, and the growth of Desmond Ritter continues. And by his third year or whatever, then third or fourth year, maybe you might say, you know what? Let's go this route and cut bait. Happens all the time. Happens too much in today's game. You saw Jared Goff got the heave ho. We saw Matt Ryan get the heave ho. And people make mistakes and get rid of quarterbacks. It happens. But I'm just trying to see if we can jumpstart some of this sometimes. Maybe. Because we've done everything. All right, 3 Dirties with us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. What's going on, brother? What about the overall chemistry of this dynamic player with our current coaching staff? 3 Dirty, I look at Lamar Jackson as a supersized version of what Marcus Mariota was trying to do. Imagine those situations this year if it was Lamar Jackson in the place of Mariota. And I'm not trying to oversell you on the accuracy of Lamar Jackson's arm. I will say you get a great upgrade in athleticism, as good as Mariota was in spurts. But I think you have a better opportunity of having some chemistry with your tight end, as we see Lamar doing with Mark Andrews right now. I can only imagine the sky's the limit with somebody like Kyle Pitts, who is a much more of a physical specimen than Mark Andrews is. So I just reach in the dream world when we start talking about those type of things. Facebook you said we can wait on Caleb. I have no problem with getting the 4 best defensive players available this year and then sell the whole 2024 draft for Caleb if we have to. Caleb, don't get me wrong, is good. This fan base doesn't want. We're not going to go through a 6th losing season, man. That folks are going to have to win this year. And here's how I'm going to go into this. So with your scenario, in order to get Caleb for the next year, you're going to have to lose, and probably have to lose worse than we are this year. So do you think this organization, even as we go through the 5th losing season in a row, do you truly think that Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, who wouldn't survive another losing season, are going to have the opportunity to spend, let's try one more time? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. If you think about Dan Quinn he got really lucky. Because he only got 7-9, and in the middle of the next year, he was gone. I think Arthur Smith, they have to win this year. So, yeah, Caleb is very, 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 very nice, but I don't see us so-called tanking for that. Jeremy says, Ryan flat out sucked his last few years, and that was an affordable but mismanaged $30 million year deal, which turned into a restructured nightmare. Absolutely. Imagine that same restructured spiral scenario with a $50 million deal. We could, I don't know why it got cut off, Jeremy, but I think I get the gist of what you're doing. 2 things with that. One, again, the salary cap is continuing to go up, up, up. And while we say $50 million, which is a lot of money, it is going to be a problem when you start talking about, hey, maybe turning certain parts of the salary into a bonus and then spreading it down. I just think I'm looking at the salary cap in the next couple of years to be in the 250 million ranges. The way with some of these TV deals coming down, they're getting ready to sell the NFL what DirecTV had, the Sunday ticket. They're getting ready to sell that again, so that's more money. So I look at the salary cap to continue to go up. So by the time we would get to 2026, 2027, I think these salary caps are going to be such that you can kind of absorb that. And look at this also, Jeremy, as far as when you're talking about $50 million deals. Okay, the $50 million deals to me aren't the big thing. The guaranteed money is the big thing. A lot of times we were able to do a lot of, you were able to work a lot of magic with these deals because a lot of the money wasn't guaranteed. Well, Deshaun Watson changed the game with that. Well, he and Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins' deal was all guaranteed as well. So with this particular money that we're talking about, I think people are just going to have to get creative in the future. I look at Kyler Murray. I'm looking at Russell Wilson. I'm looking at what was Jared Goff's contract. I mean, people are going to get paid. Guess what? When Herbert and Burrows and Tua are up, this is the number they're going to be looking at. So while I hear the concern to say, yeah, I don't want to pay that because it's $50 million, I think that's going to end up being a bargain in a couple of years. Why do you think they tried to hurry up and get Josh Allen under contract? Because they know in a couple of years that you're going to have barely above average quarterbacks making too much money. Kyler Murray comes to mind. I think Kyler Murray is an outstanding athlete. I'm not sure if I would have paid him early. I'm not sure if I would have done that deal. But what the Arizona Cardinals are looking at is coming down the line. These salaries are going to skyrocket. We better get them now. But I understand. But I said, I get it. I get the caution. I get the label on the prescription where it says caution or be careful. I get it. Facebook user, and again, I'm sorry, y'all. If I know a couple of you, Clayton, you coming through, Jeremy coming through. Some of you are coming through, some of you not. So Facebook user says, Lamar is a great talent, but I'd rather let Ritter play to see if he's going to be the future. Build a team from the draft, free agency with that money. If Ritter doesn't work out, go after one of them quarterbacks coming out in the 24 draft. But if we did get Lamar quarterback, I wouldn't be mad because what's going to be the plan to fill all the holes we have? There is a misconception that if you sign Lamar, let me explain something to y'all. If you sign Lamar to a contract, let's say 5 years, let's go with Jeremy's number, 5 years, $250 million. There is not a chance in hell that the first year of that contract is going to be $50 million swept out of your salary cap. They're going to do something kind of like what Deshaun did, where Deshaun ended up working where he was $1 million this year. And then it kind of has escalators going down the line. So maybe 3 or 4 years down, we might be paying bonus money that we owe. We'll already have paid the bonus money, but it'll count against our cap maybe 2-3 years past the contract. All $50 million is not going to come out in 2023. That's not going to happen. Go to any salary cap or any team right now. There are very few teams paying, if somebody has a contract that says 3 years, $150 million, there are very few people that are paying $50 million this year for a player. Very few. As far as the wait to the 24 draft, listen, I hear y'all. Some of y'all are very patient, and God bless you for the patience. We've been saying, let's wait till here for the last 6 years. Well, let's wait till this class. Well, let's wait till this class. Well, let's wait till this happens. Sometimes you have to go for it, man. Sometimes you got to take a chance. And that's why I pre-named this hypothetical. No one is saying that this is the only option. We're just putting it out there. Why not? Why not give it a shot? Bringing him into the ATL. Just expand your mind. Atlanta Bird Gang's in the house. That's Brother Tidy in the house. And again, y'all, if y'all get a chance, man, go to that Atlanta Bird Gang YouTube page. Not only subscribe to it, but get a chance to look at what he had about what it would take to get Lamar in here. It's not as expensive as you think. Charles B in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you in here. John Higgins, as usual. What's going on? I saw you last night on Smitty. Crazy. Yeah, I do. Shout out to brother Smitty on Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Also, my brother 95 North, Alberto 95 North Sports Talk. Make sure you sub those guys up. Kivo is on. He's coming back on YouTube. As soon as he gets his YouTube page, we'll push that through too. Yeah, we had a good time last night. Clayton said one thing though: if we do get LJ, he's a player I would bring. He's a player that would bring other players that would want to play here. Again, that's why I say swing for the fences. Guess what, y'all? Earlier this year, when half the fan base was shocked when Terry Fontenot tried to go out there and possibly get Deshaun Watson, and then, of course, you heard the little creeps that, Jarvis Landry might say, oh, wait a minute, I might try to get part of that. And who was the defensive player? It was somebody defensive-wise that they were saying was waiting to see what will happen with that. That's the other thing you get with a built-in superstar, folks. You get some clout for your city. And Lamar, if he came here, he knows what he would bring to this city. And other players want to be part of that. And especially in Atlanta. Atlanta is a city begging to have superstars, begging to have the bright lights. We already got the lights sitting out there waiting. We just need a reason to turn them on. And a superstar of Lamar Jackson's ilk can probably bring that electricity back to a dome, to a stadium that is so lacking energy right now. And when we've clinched our fifth straight losing season, sometimes you got to do something outside the box. And I also hear everybody, well, let's go by the draft. Let's develop. Let's let Ritter turn into, let's get him into some training, and he'll turn into that. There's no guarantees. Just like there's no guarantee about Lamar. But how many times have we talked about developing? And let's go in the draft and get. We sit up here and we get excited about fourth and fifth round picks and all of that. And then 2 years after, we're calling them trash. Second round picks that we'll say he'll be here for 5-10 years. And we letting them go in 3 years. This is not a right or wrong. It's a hypothetical. That's what you got to think of it as. Jeremy says, I'll agree that if we get a guy like Lamar here, that would absolutely make other top free agent talents want to come here. Definite upside of that sign. And you're right. But you're also right too, Jeremy. Look, you would be, as a GM, setting yourself up for career suicide if it doesn't work out. Because to your point, as we just saw in this franchise a couple of years ago, we set ourselves up for failure. Not only set ourselves up for failure, but had to deal with 2021 and this year of not being able to go get folks. Who's the highest paid person we got? I think maybe Casey Hayward, possibly, in the last 2 years. And I don't think that contract was, what was it, $5 million a year or whatever? I don't know. Winston says this team needs an influx of talent. Now we need a splash signing to regain the fan base and get over the competitive hump. I tend to agree with that. We've We've been trying to make Michael Walker probably more than he has. We've overtalked Richie Grant, trying to say he has. And guess what, y'all? We've been overtalking AJ Terrell a little bit too. And I like AJ. But there were some of you out here ready to call AJ a lockdown corner and all of this and all of that. And I'm saying, yeah, he's good, but slow down. Lamar Jackson is proven. He's proven. Yes, he gets hurt, but he's proven. And more times out of not, he's going to be winning. So that's why I'm just kind of, trying to see if we can just try that. Scooter, what's going on, Scooter? How you doing, brother? Say, I think the way our offense is set up, it demands a dual threat quarterback. Watching DR4 run the read option look weird. Now, I will say this, and boy, this is going to sound real bad. I tell you what, I'm not sure, and it could have been the first game. I'm not sure Ritter can probably run the offense like Mariota did. Mariota, at least you saw, with the exception of the throwing, some of the plays he was doing when he was running the ball were very effective. Those 4 or 5 yards that we sit back and Ritter got caught up a couple of times. Now again, that's game one. I'm willing to give him the opportunity to prove that he can do it. But you're absolutely right. Again, just mentally put LJ in those Mariota plays and think about what your success level would be. The chances of your success level. But it did look weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. John says, only thing I say about Lamar, Steve, is his accuracy at the quarterback position for throwing football. No, there's no doubt that his accuracy is less than desired. He has some accuracy problems too, but he makes up for it a lot of times. He makes up for it more than Mariota did. Let's put it that way. My brother Nacho Rodriguez, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you in the house. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you talking a little bit about hypothetical Lamar Jackson, because I guarantee you this, man. There's going to be people that take this and they're talking about Lamar Jackson. They don't want to give Ritter a chance. Nobody's saying we're not trying to give Ritter a chance. All I'm saying is you want all options open going into 2023. We are not a franchise that can sit back and say, of course, if you let Ritter get a year, he's going to get better. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you bring Lamar Jackson in and it's going to automatically change too. But guess what? Lamar Jackson has a resume. Desmond Ritter doesn't. If you bring Lamar in here and still keep Ritter on your bench, that's great. Because then you got Ritter learning from somebody actually better than the first person he had in here. If you kept up with that. Rusty, what is going on, man? Say, not sure if Lamar has a $50 million a year arm, but I'm not naive. That man is a winner. If Dez ain't the solution, sign me up for Lamar. I don't know how much it costs. Sick of these mediocre crap year after year after year after year. Go big or go home. If we pursued Deshaun, I see no reason why we wouldn't pursue Lamar. But Baltimore is going to franchise him, so we will have to trade for him. They won't lose him in free agent for nothing. Be prepared to give up picks. There is not anything in that particular thing you just said, but I do want to address the first sentence. Not sure if Lamar has a $50 million arm. Here's the problem. Is Kyler Murray worth $40 million? Is Russell Wilson in 2022 worth $40 million? Was Matt Ryan before he left Atlanta $35 million? Is Tom Brady right now for $30 in 2022, not for the Super Bowls he's won before, but in 2022, is Tom Brady $35 million? You can make an argument going down the road for a lot of quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins is nice, but is he a $35 million quarterback? What are we really talking about? Was Goff a $30 million quarterback when he got his contract? Folks, I hate to tell you, the starting quarterback, the average salary for a quarterback going on his second contract in the NFL is going to be somewhere between $35 to $40 million. And guess what? Lamar has an MVP in his back pocket. That makes his credit rating higher. So those are the things we got to think. He doesn't have to have a $50 million arm. Maybe he has $50 million talent, charisma, and the ability to possibly bring in some folks to come into this city to help him. Facebook user says, I think we'll be in that position. We're not good enough on defense to win more than 6 games next year either. And this is not saying that we still can't address. Again, y'all getting stuck on the per year thing. Just because a contract says 5 years, $250 million doesn't mean the $50 million has to come out in one lump sum the first year. And a reminder, Terry Fontenot was part of one of the most creative salary cap teams ever in the New Orleans Saints, the way they maneuver stuff. Now, they having to pay for it starting next year, but knowing Mickey Loomis, he'll probably work his way out of that too. Lineberg Game says YouTube TV is about to close on a $2.5 billion deal for the rights to NFL Sunday Ticket. Jesus, if YouTube gets that, I'm just trying to tell you, that's a great. And so his point was, while we keep talking about $50 million is going to take all of the salary cap is continuing to grow, folks. By 2027-28, we're going to have $60 million quarterbacks. Mark my word, we will. No doubt. Nacho says Lamar Jackson would be one spectacular option for the team, but he is going to ask you for about $50 million guaranteed. And how are you going to rearm the team? You can still rearm. And one day, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try my best. And I know Toddy's on there too. And maybe we need to get together and possibly bring a capologist on here to let people know that I know it's easy. People look at the numbers and just say, oh, $50 million. We have to do it like this. There are so many ways you can maneuver around this contract, folks. It would be mind blowing. Dave, what's up, brother? Said for the second year in a row, I hope somebody saves the Falcons from themselves. Oh man, Winston says the NFL TV deal comes into the effect in 23, so we can get Lamar now at 50 a year. You move on it because in 24 you're going to be looking at 55 and up for a top quarterback. And let me explain something else to y'all. For everybody that went crazy when Patrick Mahomes signed the 10-year $450 million deal, guess what? He can opt out. I think it's either next year or the year before, the year after. And guess what Patrick Mahomes is going to get? Joe Burrow, who hasn't even got through his rookie contract. Guess what Joe Burrow's going to get if he makes the playoffs again this year? I don't want everybody to get stuck on these numbers. These numbers are going to go up. They are. Dave says the fact that it will be all guaranteed is a bigger issue. It's really not. It's really not. You know they can take some money from the base salary, turn it into a bonus, and spread it out. Everybody does it. We did it with number 2 here for the last 3 years. Number 2 was supposed to get $30 million, 2 years in a row, 19 and 20. And both years, they took money out of his base salary, turned it into a bonus, gave it to him up front, and spread it down the line to where this is the last year that he counts against it. It can be done. Let me go to this one. I'm sorry. Dave said there is a reason why a top 3 organization like the Ravens are waiting him out. I don't know. There's something to be said about Lamar not biting. Lamar might want to try, test the waters. And Rusty does have a point. Yeah, the Ravens aren't just going to let him walk. They're going to franchise him. They're going to franchise him because they're going to get something out of this. They are. Atlanta Bird Gang says, I'm with you on not waiting. If you have a chance to get your quarterback in free agency, then take advantage of it immediately. You never know how things play out in future years. And how many chances have we really taken as a franchise with a free? Who is the biggest free agent splash person that we've gotten in our history? Splash. Michael Turner was a splash. He was a need. Splash player that was specifically signed because that was going to change the culture of our franchise. I'll wait. Dave says, I don't see players clamoring to go to Baltimore. That's my point, Dave. Atlanta is one of those cities that players want to be around, whether it's basketball, football, or otherwise. Folks want to be around the ATL. Don't think for 1 minute that Lamar is not hedging his. And I'm not saying he's sitting there dreaming about the Falcons or dreaming about Arthur Blank bringing him to dinner. I'm just saying it's got to be one of the places that he has on his radar because he's looking at the salary cap and he sees Chicago, well, they got Justin Fields. Atlanta, Desmond Ridder. We'll see. Nacho says, let's rebuild a team, and then we'll look at the quarterback issue. Let's give Ridder time in 2023, and from there, see if there's a quarterback is needed or not. Here's my only thing, Nacho, and that's not a knock on that scenario. Let me make that clear. We're trying to build in 2018. We're trying to build in 2019. We tried to build in 2020. We tried to build in 2021. We tried to build in 2000. How many times, and more importantly, how many years is the fan base supposed to sit back and say, okay, let's be patient with this process? That's why I'm just trying to give alternatives. We have never tried this route. That's why think about the buzz earlier this year, right before when the thought that Deshaun Watson, remember we came down, it's between us and the Saints. It's between us and the Saints. And the news got down that it was us right before Cleveland swept in. And it's going to pay dividends for them next year. Don't let these couple of games fool you. Cleveland is going to be nice next year. And who knows? Lamar Jackson might be looking. Think about this. The Saints are going down. The Tampa Bay will eventually go down because you got a lot of high-priced veterans on that team. Carolina is young, but they're still not sold at quarterback either. Lamar can come to the NFC South and actually kind of run the place for a couple of years. So, that could be something to think about. We gotta put this on here. Winston just sent me something, folks, and I appreciate Winston. Man, Winston is on point. An article on the capology of the NFL, and I'm probably what I'll probably do, Winston, is you and I on the day right before we'll get together and we'll kind of get this. But I have this on the timeline. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much for sending that. We're gonna work that one out and maybe give a class on that to give people a better idea. Dave says this is the biggest problem with sports in Atlanta. Everything has to be style over substance. Bring some real football players here instead of this gimmick nonsense. And now I don't know whether you're saying Winston would be, I mean, not Winston. Sorry, Winston. Whether Lamar would be gimmicky. I'm trying to read it. I hope that's not what you're saying. I don't think it would be a gimmick to bring him in there. I think it would be true substance. I think he's a top 10, possibly top 5 talent quarterback in this league. You immediately get some credibility by bringing Lamar Jackson in here. Travis, what's going on? Travis says, go get Lamar. Lamar's the face of the franchise. Pair him with Drake and Pitts is lethal. Blank sees the empty seats in Mercedes-Benz. He better jump at it. And I'll even take it one step further and correct you, Travis, even though you were right. He doesn't see empty seats. He sees other fans in the seats. But you're right. I'm messing with you to say along with the empty seats, he sees everybody else fans in those seats. So, you are 100% dead on, brother. They say it seems like people are trying to talk themselves into this Lamar Jackson thing. Well, I mean, it's not a matter of what else are you going to do, y'all? Just like you're saying people are trying to talk themselves into the Lamar thing, I think people are trying to talk ourselves into Ritter is going to be that guy. It's the same thing. It's just a matter of which path you want to take. You can take the let's develop. And I like development. Development is fine. But you know what development also is? Development, it takes time. So if some of y'all have the patience of Job, I'm down with you. I'm going to be dead in a few years. So I'm trying to win now. I want to be around to see the team make the Super Bowl. So my patience is probably less than maybe some of you 20, 30-year-olds that, can look at this thing as, oh, it's a process that'll take 5, 10 years. That, man, please. I don't know if my next day is promised. I need it now. And I've tried other scenarios so many times that I think I'm just getting soured to the point that these other things don't work. It's not a shot. I hope Ritter works out. For the record, I hope Ritter runs the table, wins these 3 games. We luck up some miraculous way, make the playoffs. He shows that he's the guy, and we go into 2023. If he does that, I'll promise to stop the Lamar talk, and we'll go forward. But guess what? The reality is you're getting ready to go into a 10-degree place on the road against a team that's a perennial playoff team and try to beat them at their own game with our rookie 3rd-round pick. You tell me which scenario is going to make sense, I guess. Not a bird game. If the Falcons had so much confidence in Ritter, he would not have been picked in the 3rd round. Hello. And he would also not have sat on the bench until week 15, not being able to beat out Mariota. Think about this, too. As Tidy was mentioning that, think about this. Malik Willis was drafted after Ritter, but started before Ritter. Now, I know miserably, but he started before Ritter. Kenny Pickett, another contemporary, started. Now, I'm not sure. Did Matt Corral have any game time at all this year? And I know he didn't start, but did he have any game time at all? But it was the last big quarterback out of the draft to see time on the field. So to his point, Dave said this sounds like a desperate fan base. But it's not desperate, Dave. You know what it is, Dave? It's patience. It's not desperate. And you know what? I take that back. It is desperate. Desperate for this team to win. Now, again, if you're satisfied with the less wait to develop, that's fine. There's nothing wrong. But I'm saying hypothetically, can we try something different? You know Terry has the mindset to do it from what he tried early in the spring. It's not desperate. It's saying I want this. I want to get better sooner than we're doing right now. First, it was let's bring tools around Matt. Let's bring an offense. Look, we went 1 year, we drafted all offensive linemen. We tried another year, we drafted a lot of defense. And when you have scenarios that don't work, you want to try something different. You can call it desperate for all you want, but you know. Bobby Carter says, have we gave up on Ritter already? No. This is not a give up on Ritter post. It's not a give up on Ritter video. These are all hypothetical. I'm gonna need some of y'all to look up hypothetical. Y'all do that for me. Somebody put the definition of hypothetical on here. Hayward contract, 2 years, $11 million. Falcons can save $5 million in 2023 by releasing him with just a $2 million dead cap hit. I'm down. I'm down. Bobby Carter said, and that play calling. Oh, see, it definitely is play calling too. It is. It is play calling as well. But I'm also saying, Bobby, sometimes you just look and see where your franchise is. And this is what people don't want to admit to themselves. I think there's a certain part of the fan base that gets mad when you upset the apple cart. I think there's a certain section of the fan base that is absolutely fine with staying pat, being average, and not trying to get better. There's a certain faction of folks that get upset if you say, well, why don't we try to upgrade from Ritter? Oh, no, we just drafted Ritter. He just got here. Anything to get the team better. I go back and look at the Rams last year where they were going through the FD's picks. Now that's is biting them in their back this year. But last year, when they needed that, they went for it and won a Super Bowl. I'm just saying we need to try something different. There are some of you that think acting like Ritter was Peyton Manning coming out of. No. There's a reason why he ran. And you know what? Ritter can't even go the Josh Norman route. Not Josh Norman. Josh Rosen. Remember Josh Rosen? I'm going to get all 10 of those teams who didn't sign me. Desmond Ritter ran around twice. And everybody said no dice twice. Why are we trying to make this guy better than he is? As a fan, I want him to be better, but I would love to have a contingency. And my contingency is in Baltimore. Ritter is only a third round pick, fellas. The Falcons didn't invest that much into him. He has to earn the franchise quarterback role. We are just not going to give it to a third rounder. And that part right there, where he just happens to be the next man up. Folks, there is no guarantee Ritter is going to be the franchise quarterback for the next 3 years. Just because we made that change. Yes, the Ritter era started, but that doesn't necessarily mean going into 2023, it's his job to lose. Matter of fact, I'll take it one step further. Say we don't go the Lamar Jackson route. You better bring somebody in here to challenge him because he hasn't arrived. You better bring somebody in here solid that will challenge him. You got to. You can't just give this man the job. That's what we did to Mariota. You just can't give him the job and just let him have it. Not a bird smash the like. Yeah, thank y'all, man. If y'all do get a chance to push that like button, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. We just want to again, It's we appreciate the love. Dave said, this is not about Ritter for me. This is about getting real football players in Atlanta. Tired is not. But when are we going to do it, Dave? Stop saying that. And we're not getting anybody. Stop saying that. You keep saying, okay, so where are the real players we getting? Who are the real players that we're getting? That's the part that bothers me. Don't say we keep getting real players. What nonsense? Who are you getting? Tell me the real players that you're going to get. I keep hearing all the time. Don't worry about quarterback. Go get somebody to fill in the trenches. That's going to be a draft pick or a free agent that you're taking just as much of a chance on them as you are on Lamar Jackson. That doesn't make sense. Folks are trying to, and again, you can start with absolutely plugging in people on your line. I would love to get Deron Payne in here. I would love to get, I don't know. There's not really a free agent wide receiver out there that's just super appealing to me, right? When you're talking about that. But you're saying nonsense. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league because guess what? He makes wide receivers better. Tyreek Hill was nice, and he's still nice. But nobody knew who Tyreek was before Patrick got there. Kelsey was nice. He was good. But he didn't get his shine till Mahomes got there. Josh Allen made what's my man name? Gabe Davis look better. Dawson Knox look better. Stephon Diggs was good in Minnesota. Now he's an all-pro. Because the quarterback position is very important. It's the most important position in North American sports. Again. And you say nonsense, it just makes no sense to me. But again, that's crazy. John says, hey, Steve, make sure they hit your like button. Please hit the like button, y'all. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Bobby said Ritter is a proven winner. Also, he absolutely is. You're absolutely right. He sure is. He sure is. He absolutely is in college. You have a proven commodity person in the NFL who's won an MVP, and I'm sorry, it's gonna make my brain burst if you try to compare them at this time. Not trying to say Ritter's not going to develop into something better, but I'm talking about now. I'm talking about trying to stop a 5-year losing streak in your city. That's what I'm talking about. They say, I'm not sure why I should care about what other quarterbacks are worth. I'm just hoping the Falcons don't continue to do what they've done in the past. If they don't continue to do what they do in the past, they might go after a quarterback. Atlanta Hurricane proven winner in the NFL. That's my thing. Bobby Carter said, what was Brett Favre in the NFL? Horrible analogy. I keep telling people about that, and everybody goes back to Brett Favre turned out to be blah, blah. People, do you remember the year Brett Favre got traded to the Green Bay Packers? It was the year after Too Legit to Quit. Chris Miller was basically the starting quarterback. He was thought to be the quarterback of the future. There's no way you would have known coming off a playoff season to get rid of Chris Miller and keep Brett Favre. Brett Favre was getting drunk. Brett Favre wasn't being in compliance with the rules. He'll tell you that. Jerry Glanville will tell you that. Everybody will tell you that on that team. And y'all need to go back and look at. I'm trying to think what the little thing they did on the Falcons, and I can't remember whether that was NFL Network or whatever it was. It might have been on the Atlanta Falcons website where they did the story about the Too Legit to Quit Falcons year, and they talked a lot about Brett Favre. Go back and look at that. That's I hear where you're going. Bad analogy, though, after you go see it. Dave said, now this nonsense is going to take a life of itself this offseason. Again, help the Falcons save themselves. I hope it does. I really hope it takes a life of this offseason because it'll be better than celebrating 7-9, 7-9, 4-12, 7-10, and whatever we're going to end up being this year. Sorry. Jeremy says we're all guilty sometimes of making huge judgments on a player because of one game or one season, but not even counting what he does with his legs. Lamar has a 96.7 career quarterback rating, which is pretty damn good. I'm on board, but our accountant is going to need some motive. Okay, we agree on that. Listen, there are financial ramifications that are definitely going to be hair-raising if you have hair. That the Falcons have to look at if you're going to make that move. You are. So, yeah, you're definitely going to have to. It's going to be some interesting times, folks. Charles B says, will Jameis Winston be a good fit for the Falcons? You know, before the year, I would have said yes. I know he wouldn't fit in what. I know he wouldn't fit in what Arthur Smith's trying to do right now. In my opinion, I don't think. But I almost thought about that at first, but I don't know. Dave said it is the guaranteed money, which is all of it. There are ways to get around that, folks. Y'all looking with blinders. There are ways to get around it. Nacho says Baltimore will most likely franchise tag him and re-sign him. It's hard to find a high-quality starting quarterback, and Eric DeCosta isn't stupid enough to let him go. But here's the problem, Nacho, and here's the thing you think about. There is no earthly reason I could understand why you wouldn't have signed him before this season. What were you waiting on? What is there something specific that you think he's not going to do? So and listen, you might be right. They might re-sign him. And then a lot of you are going to be hot 99 a boo-boo, and that's not even the point of this whole thing. The point of this whole thing is thinking about people and how we can get this franchise better. And again, some of y'all have these blinders on that says, no, we'll be the poor little Atlanta and we'll dig and we'll crawl and we'll be the best little engine that could and do all that. And meantime, 2 generations later, we're still going to be without a ring. Sometimes you got to swing for the fences, y'all. Sometimes you got to swing for them. Everybody talks about the LA Dodgers in baseball and how they haven't won as many World Series, but they always spend money on players to come in. But you know what? I ain't mad at the Dodgers because they swing it. The New York Mets just switched up. Correa was supposed to go to the Giants. He ended up signing with the Mets. So, I mean, hey. You can't do anything unless you swing for the fences. Dave said Mahomes' contract is not fully guaranteed. It is rare that it happens. That's why smart organizations do that. Dave, that was right before Kirk Cousins, right before Deshaun Watson. So you're talking about 2 years ago when they signed his contract. Patrick Mahomes signs a contract now. Guarantee you it's all going to be guaranteed. Things change. Things change from year to year. You're going back and reaching into 2019 and 2020. That's, like I said again, y'all gotta come up to par. You can't go back and reach 2 years ago to find out what players are doing now. Ever since Kirk Cousins signed that 3-year contract that all the money was guaranteed, now quarterbacks, they want all that money guaranteed now. So before that, it didn't happen. Now it's happening. Come on now. I need y'all to do your homework now. Bobby says, Lamar will be a setback for what we are trying to do. All right. Jimmy says, if Lamar wants to bring him, but only if he doesn't want top dollar. Atlanta Bird Gang says Dimitrov spoke on this before. He said the salary cap can be manipulated easily. Easily. Dave says Lamar is waiting on a dummy. Well, a dummy's going to reach. A dummy's going to get it. 3 first rounds and 2 second rounds might get it. Rusty says Ray Edwards, excuse me while I puke. Yeah, I know. You're talking about free agents. Yeah, I got you. Jimmy says, and I don't think they'll tag him. They haven't used it on a quarterback ever in their history. Last tag guy was Tucker in 2016. So let's see. Well, back to Rusty's point, you have to get something for Lamar. So it would almost be foolish just to let him walk. So you got to get something. I think it's, you got to start thinking about that. Rusty says, all these people on Facebook who talk about building the team and then getting the quarterback must think their top-tier quarterbacks grow on trees. I never understood that logic, and Joe Burrow in Cincinnati is proof that it doesn't need to happen in that order. Rusty, I don't even know how you reach in my mind and get those. I hear the same thing. Well, you got to build the trenches first. Then you wait for the magical, mystical quarterback to pop out of the air and then pop on your team. Now, there have been situations where the defense may have been in place and you had a good game manager, see Russell Wilson, when he was playing, because Russell was not a prime quarterback when they won the Super Bowl. I'd argue he was better a couple of years later. But they had the defense so set up. That situation doesn't happen often. We sit here and try to act like Seattle planned it that way. That's not what they planned. Because if they had planned it that way, they wouldn't have signed Matt Flynn the same offseason and brought him into the mix. I don't know. I don't know, Rusty. They some folks, I just don't understand it. Atlanta Burger, and this is about to be our 5th consecutive losing season. Got to start back winning immediately. For everyone stuck on Ritter, it may take him 3 years to develop or longer. Or longer. Just saying. Rusty says, stop me when I'm wrong. I haven't stopped you, brother. Armani, what's going on, brother? Said, my question is, would it be worth it as far as cap space and long-term success? Armani, money is coming to the NFL yearly. Billions are coming to the NFL yearly. With every year, this salary cap is going to jump 10, 15, $20 million. In some cases, that's a full superstar. If y'all look at what the salary cap was, matter of fact, I'll tell you what I do. Salary. Just for kicks and giggles. Just for kicks and let me see. Here we go. Cap history for the NFL. All right, here we go. Let me bring this on screen so everybody can understand that the salary cap just wasn't built last year. Let's go back. Let's just go back 10 years just for craps and giggles. 2012 salary cap 120. 2015 salary cap 143. That's 23 million for those who can't count. From 2015 to 2018, 177. $35 million. 2020, 198. Don't get fooled by 2021. That's because of the pandemic. 2022, $208 million. So from 2012, 10 years, to 2022, $80 million. $80 million. For those of you who think The salary cap is just going to stop because of one player. So I don't get it, y'all. I don't know what y'all want to see. Oh man. To be the change you wish to see, what's going on? Thank you. The coach is a problem with recruiting. You might have a point there. You might have a point. I'm not sure if people want to play for Arthur Smith. You might have a good point there. Jim Wayne said, we're close to $90 million. Yes, especially while he's young. Bobby says corners, safeties, linebackers, and D-line. Why are we talking quarterback? Because the quarterback moves to the needle, Bobby. I don't know what league I don't know what sport you watch. I don't care what you do. No team wins with incompetent quarterback play. No team. Yes, we need corner help. Yes, we need safety help. Yes, you need linebacker help. Yes, you need D-line help. Yes, you do. But you need a quarterback too. I just can't believe I just can't believe I'm sitting here arguing about us needing improved quarterback play. Now, I'll say this then. I want to make sure I take receipts on all these folks that are acting like the quarterback position means nothing. Because we got to build the defense, we got to build the offensive line. All those things are true. But if you don't have a quarterback, how many times last year did we talk about, man, Joe Burrow is going to get killed. He's going to get killed. He's going to get stopped. He's going to get stumped. He got sacked 8 times. He got sacked 6 times. He got sacked 3 times. And he was one drive away from the Super Bowl, from winning. I don't know. I can't make it up. It's true. It's true. I'm sorry. Dude, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And I'll tell you this. Look, if Ritter is our quarterback, I'm still down. Dude, I am still 100% down with Ritter if he's our quarterback. But I will say this. I don't want anybody complaining. In 2023 if we had opportunity to improve and then we're stuck here with something mediocre. I'm not wishing Ritter to be mediocre. I'm just saying we got to do something. And I'm got news for y'all. We're gonna do and what we should do. And I know Tidy's on. What we should do, Tidy, going into, we should have a show that pinpoints the free agents available in the NFL this year. Because I'm trying to tell y'all, it's not as great as you think. Edge rushers, not as great as you think. Free agency. Wide receivers, not as great as you think. Running backs, not as great. So while I hear everybody co-signing for let's stay pat, all your other positions everybody talking about, they're not exactly that great either. Dave says this is not about Ritter. It better be. It's your quarterback now. Jeremy says, all right, let's do this. I know Jerry messing with me. It's all good, man. Listen, I don't even this is great debate. And if y'all join us again this weekend, I know the games are on Saturday. I'm gonna love to have this conversation and restart this stuff. I see some of y'all come, and let me make sure Bobby, I appreciate all your comment, Dave. You know you are number one in my book. I don't mind a disagreement because that's what this is all about. Good talk about the future of our franchise. I'm just one of the people that I think sometimes you need to change this thing up. You really do. And that's my thing. CP, I see you came in, man. I see you, brother. Uh, uh, trying to see who else is there. John Harris, I see you in there. So I see a lot of y'all coming in, and I apologize. I gotta get out of here and get to work, and we're gonna get this thing coming. David Starks, I see you down there. I'm gonna put yours up because I know you. The free agent class this year isn't good. Say it again, man. Y'all, because again, for those in fantasy land thinking that we just gonna pick up top-notch offensive line, top-notch defensive line, top quarters and all of that, that's fine. I mean, but it's a fantasy. Bobby says, how many Super Bowls have Joe Burrow won? As many as we have, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not trying to compare Joe Burrow to but I tell you what, I'd rather have Joe Burrow here not winning the Super Bowl, knowing that he can probably attract other people to come in here. I know that. I mean, we can sit there and we could play the who didn't win anything all day. Lamar Jackson hasn't won the Super Bowl, but I'll still take him as my quarterback and have a better opportunity to make that Super Bowl. That means nothing to me. Millie Mills in the house. What's up, Millie? Saying, what about wide receiver? We do need another wide receiver, but Millie, go look at the wide receiver free agents. That's not. I'd rather get one of these Thundercats out of college. But at what point do you pick them? We don't know which pick we're gonna have. There's not a lot of folks out there, man. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. It's not as cut and dry as y'all think. But I love this conversation, man. Thank everybody for joining us today, coming in. I love the conversation. I again, hypothetical. Y'all need to read it. Nobody said it was set in stone. Hypothetical. I love the people that get in their feelings when somebody's trying. But it also tells me a lot about this fan page that a lot of y'all are stuck in the mud with complacency. That bothers me. That bothers me about this franchise. That a lot of folks don't want to move forward and try. That scares me. That really scares me. That somebody mentions getting somebody of an ilk that we're not used to. And no, we'll stay with our almost a kind of semi-proven Matt Ryan-ish type player instead of shooting for the moon. But y'all are good by me. Please, if y'all don't do anything else, love this conversation. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, push the like button. We'll do all of that. Y'all are awesome, man. Bobby, Dave, y'all come back with it, man. If next time I bring y'all on screen, we need to do this. We need to do this straight up. I love this kind of talk. Y'all be good, man. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch y'all down the line. All right.